Don Woodstock's favorite spot in Winnipeg is Tin to Hands Restaurant. His favorite app is alarm.com. His first job was selling furniture. Favorite book? The Art of Positive Thinking. Happy place? Snuggling with his dog. And Don Woodstock's theme song? Jah is Standing by My Side by Tony Rebel.
Sitting down with all 11 mayoral candidates in this upcoming election for the mayor of the city of Winnipeg. And today we're sitting down with Don Woodstock. Hello.
Pleasure. Lovely to be here.
So let's start with the question. You were one of the first people to get into this race, to visit the clerk's office.
Yes.
You registered your campaign on the first day, in fact, candidates were eligible.
Yes.
So
excited.
You ran for mayor in 2018.
Yes, I did.
You were fourth. You got 2% of the popular vote.
Yes.
Beyond excitement, why did you know you wanted to go for this job again?
My business now takes me firsthand into people's homes and see the atrocity that happened and the level of crime and violence that happened in our city. And when you have a business that runs 365 days a year and see this, you can't help but realize that you have an opportunity to bring to the table some of your experiences. And being a stubborn person as I am, who have led the city in a number of initiatives over the years, and I've been a forward-thinking person and an advocate for some major changes in the city, so small change at the time which turns out to be major changes. I believe I have the tenacity, I have the grit, I have the vision to lead Winnipeg into a new direction, because we need to have something done differently than what we currently have in right now.
Now, we'll just mention for those that don't know, you have a security business, so that
Yes.
would be what takes you into the homes that you're mentioning.
Yes, home security, burglar alarms, cameras, etc. Yes.
In the last campaign, you carried a football as a prop,
Yes.
which has come out time to time again, but this time you brought a broom. You said City Hall needs a clean sweep.
Yes.
What do you propose to do that would be different?
Just the processes, that's happening at City Hall. As you may know, I've been sued just to try and bring recycling of aggregate to the forefront. This is something that has been lacking. We're throwing away millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and tens of millions of dollars, and this is something that we need to get done. The current model that they have, even for tendering process, it needs much to be desired, and I would do something like the EPC model that this current administration have. Even Janice Lukes admitted in writing to me that it's the strong mayor model that is the problem, and councillors are sitting at the beckoning of the mayor and having to do what the mayor wants to do in order to get things done. And that's not a representation of the people. That's
So
not
you
what
see a
people
structural
want.
issue there?
A major.
That you would get rid of EPC just as one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a fundamental thing that has kept us to where we are. Because I love a democracy. I loved to have it as democratic and as transparent as possible, and right now it's not.
You've already mentioned crime. A
Yes.
poll done in September suggested crime is one of the top issues for Winnipeggers. Now, you say on your website that people feel it's not safe to walk on our streets. How would you change that specifically?
The process. I would get the police to go back to adhering to the Police Act. Arresting people, charging people. Right now, people have no incentives not to do crime. They seem to do it at their own leisure. Total disregard for people's personal life and property. And that is something that I see every day through my business. I see it every day as I go about. I'm not one of those individuals who stay in the office and make phone calls. And so for me, it pains my heart when I see people living in fear of their own neighborhood. And it doesn't matter.
So if you were mayor, would you actually go through the police board and make it known, even just make it known as a leader of the city, that you would want the number of arrests to be up then, by what you're saying? You want more people charged?
The provincial government is not doing enough to make sure that the police are following the act, to follow the process necessary. The provincial government need to come come into this conversation in a huge way to make sure that these people are charged, regardless of your status, regardless of your nationality. We are going to charge you. As mayor, you will be charged if you violate people's rights, people's ability to move about, and that's not being done right now. It's hands off.
One thing you've promised is, and this is a promise, no more tent encampments in our neighborhood. If elected, how do you approach that, and what would happen to people who live there if you're mayor?
2018, I met Homes for Heroes Foundation president in Ottawa at a summit. And Homes for Heroes president basically enlightened me to a number of things, but the federal government says it's cheaper, Marcy, to have people in a home and provide services for them than leave them on the street. So why do we have people on the street? That makes no sense to me. So I would make sure, think of this way, if the king was coming here, nobody would be on the street tomorrow morning. Where would they go? They'll find somewhere for them to go. The derelict properties that are sitting around empty, I'll make sure that they'll fast track them. But they'll be off the street and they'll have the services they need because it's cheaper for the taxpayers. It's cheaper for you and I.
Now, some of the other mayoral candidates, to move to another topic, condemned you for stating, you know this, at a forum, that Indigenous men are the cause of violence against Indigenous women.
Yes.
Do you regret what you said?
Yes and no. The only regret is how the media has played it. But let me read something to you that the Saskatchewan Tribal Council Chief Mark Ancan lost his family, his nephews, in a mass stabbing on St. James First Nations Cree. And you know what he said? People need to look at the violence against Indigenous women from Indigenous people. We have to call that the truth, and we have to really address the issue because women and children are dying. Now, I've received death threat because of those statements. Okay, and so my argument is, does that chief is saying the same thing I am saying, which is we need...
Where's the yes? Where's the yes and the regret?
So
what do you regret?
Is that the media take it to the point where I'm being threatened because of a truth, a truth that I had stated.
But can you understand why you offended people and why that is wrong?
Why don't we then look at the truth for say, okay, how do we bring this number down? I want 10 years from today that we don't have this discussion.
We only have equal time for these interviews. I've already gone over time. Sure. So I need my last question to go back to return to the mayoral campaign. Yes. How do you see Winnipeg if you become mayor in 5 or 10 years, for example?
I see a city that is once safe. I see a city that is once vibrant. People are wanting to come downtown because the police are enforcing the act. I see a city where the provincial government is working hand in hand to combat the business of addictions. I see a city that investors want to come here. We are in the center Canada. We have the cheapest, some of the cheapest labor. We have the cheapest proportionate land. We have the cheapest hydro. We should be attracting people from all over the world. That's what I see. I see our youths being engaged into, I see sports capital. I don't see crime capital anymore because I'm going to make sure that we invest money in our youths' recreational facility. And you notice all the candidates now are talking about that in a roundabout way. I'm the guy who bring it to the table.
Thank you for your time, Don Woodstock. Good luck on the
Pleasure.
26th.
Thank you. Thank you for this.